Good afternoon and welcome back to Community CPA's webinar. Today I am presenting. Unfortunately, Ying does not have the time today to present for this webinar, but please stay tuned. I'm sure she'll be back next week or the following week with her usual Tuesday webinar. Today I'm presenting. My name is Karina and I work at Community CPA. I'm an accountant who processes payroll, I do bank rec, and I'm starting to get into taxes. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to visit our website or call Community CPA at 515-288-3188. Today, I am presenting about the October 15 tax due date. The tax deadline for extended taxes is just around that corner. There's 10 days left until October 15. There's some information that you should learn more about. So let's get started. Community CPA, as part of our services to our valued clients, are providing these webinars in order for businesses to cope with the current pandemic. We are not responsible for any damages attendees may suffer as a result of following any of the advice or information provided. Although we are doing our best to stay informed, the current situation is very dynamic, and the information could change at any time without any notice. Our information and advice are not legal in nature and should not be considered as such. Please consult your legal counsel if you need any legal advice. Okay, let's get started. I do want to summarize that this webinar will talk about the individual tax return due date, the business tax return due date, about direct deposit, the child tax credit monthly advance, missing stimulus checks, if you need more time to file your tax return, and penalties. The tax filing due date for individuals is typically April 15, and the extended deadline, if you file an extension, is October 15. However, because of COVID-19, the federal tax deadline was extended to May 17, 2021. So, there was an additional month which was really nice for individuals who needed more time to file their taxes instead of the usual April 15 deadline. The estimated federal income tax payments, the deadline is April 15, June 15, September 15, and January 15. Additionally, while the federal tax deadline was extended to May 17, the extended due date still remained October 15. So there's no change to that. The tax filing due date for businesses, for a C corporation, the original tax deadline is April 15. The extended tax deadline is October 15. That's for a company running on a calendar year. But for a C corp running on a fiscal year, the first due date is 4.5 months after the fiscal year ends. And the extended due date is 6 months after the original due date. So for example, you can see on screen an example. If your fiscal year ends on April 30th, then you need to file your taxes on August 15th. That's when they're due. So if your fiscal year, C Corp, please look on screen and find out when your fiscal year ends and when you should submit your taxes. Direct deposit. The safest and fastest way to get a refund is to file electronically, e-file, and have your refund electronically deposited into your bank account. You can choose to have direct deposit split into multiple accounts. You don't have to have just one bank account. If you do want to, you can have multiple accounts, and you may also purchase US saving bonds if you would want to, if you are receiving a refund. The child tax credit monthly advance payments. You will need to file as soon as possible if you experience a major change. For example, the birth of a child in 2020, the IRS will recalculate the child tax credits payments and adjust for the remainder of the payouts. If your 2020 return was processed on or before November 1st, you may be eligible for 2 payments of half the credits in 2021. If your 2020 return was processed on or before November 29th, you may be eligible for 1 payment. But please note, the fastest way to get your child tax credit payments is by e-filing. If you go to the IRS website, because you want to receive those child tax credit monthly advance payments, then you may apply. This is what you need: your full name, current mailing address, email address, date of birth, a valid social security numbers for you and your dependents, bank account information, and identity protection personal identification number, or IP PIN, if you received one from the IRS. Are you missing a stimulus payment? It's not too late to get it, but you do need to act. You need to file your 2020 tax return as soon as possible, or you need to use a child tax credit non-filer sign-up tool as well. And if you follow the website online, you can, for the child tax credit non-filer sign-up tool, that's where you can find out more information. What if you need more time? You filed the extension, but you don't think you're going to get your taxes done on time by October 15, the tax deadline for those with extensions. Then you need to know that if you are a member of the military or have others serving in a combat zone, they typically have 180 days after they leave the combat zone to file returns and pay any taxes due. Taxpayers in federally declared disaster areas who have valid extensions are also given more time. Such an, for example, a declared disaster area could be a huge snowstorm. And if you're in that area, then you can qualify for more time. Common penalties to note. There are 3 common penalties when you file your tax return. They're the failure to pay, failure to file, and failure to pay proper estimated tax. Let's talk about the failure to file. When you don't file your tax return on time by the return due date, which is typically April 15, but this past year was May 17, 2021, or if you don't file your tax return had an extension by the extended due date, then you will most certainly receive that penalty, the failure to file. If you have a failure to pay, then that means you didn't pay your taxes when you submitted your tax return by the due date, which was May 17, 2021. Typically, we said normally that it's April 15. And please note, it's really important to note that an extension to file does not extend the time to pay. So if you file an extension and you get your taxes filed before October 15, but you needed to pay, then you will still receive that penalty, the failure to pay. Because an extension is not an extension for time to pay, but an extension to file your tax return. And let's talk about the failure to pay proper estimated tax. When you don't pay enough taxes due for the year with your quarterly estimated tax payments or through withholding when required, you will receive that penalty. If typically you know that you have to pay taxes when you file your tax return, then it's really important to send in estimated payments throughout the year every quarter. So there's 4 quarters in each year, so you can send 4 payments of what you think is going to be approximately what you're going to have to pay. If you already know that when you file your taxes, you have to pay. So please keep those things in mind. Those are the penalties that you may receive. And what if I don't owe taxes? There is usually no penalty for failure to file if the taxpayer is due a refund. So that's really nice. You filed your extension, you filed before October 15, and you receive a refund, no penalty, usually. However, if you wait too long to file and claim a refund, you might risk losing it altogether. Even if you owe taxes and did not request an extension, you might be able to avoid additional penalties and interest by filing the return as soon as possible and paying any taxes owed. Bottom line, do your taxes and get them done correctly. Please file your taxes and get them done correctly. Don't file your taxes in a rush and then find out that you missed a W-2 because you were too busy or it arrived a little later than usual. It's not worth it. If you know that you're that type of person for next year, please file an extension, collect all your tax documents, make sure you have everything you need, you're not missing a document, and file your taxes and get them done correctly. If you need any help, Community CPA is here to help. You can also find answers to many questions using the Interactive Tax Assistant ITA on the IRS website. The IRS does provide payment options. You can do so by going to irs.gov/payments. And like we've said before, the IRS website is so useful, both to regular individuals, individuals who have corporations, and even to IRS employees. The best website is irs.gov because you can find answers to your questions. This has been all for today. If you have any questions, please email Catherine at communitycpa.com. Please call us at 515-288-3188. We're open from Monday to Saturday from 8:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Please, visit our website, give us a call, shoot us an email. We are here to help. I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and please get your taxes done. The deadline is just around the corner. Remember, October 15.